So my last video got a little bit interrupted by my beautiful daughter, Olivia. And, I said I was going to follow up and share some more thoughts on Exodus 16 before I rolled into Exodus 17. The truth is both chapters are linked. They're tied together. God is providing. He's providing for his people. They're in the desert. They're moving around. They need food. They need water. God provides for them manna, this flaky bread-like substance. He provides for them quails. Again, looking back at Exodus 16, he's providing them their food. And now here at the rock of Horeb in Exodus 17, he's providing them water. He's providing them water to drink. And the thing that I think about with all of this is just thinking of how the people of Israel, how their response to having need and what they do, the way that they react, like, oh my goodness, we're gonna starve. Oh my goodness, we're gonna go thirsty. Like, to me, it's kind of like, God, are you kidding me? This is the same God that just performed this amazing miracle. God just performed an amazing miracle and parted the Red Sea so you could walk through it, and then the Red Sea collapsed on your enemy. It's kind of like, how quickly did you forget that? How quickly did you forget that at the last moment when it looked like the enemy was going to overtake you? How quickly did you forget that God was going to provide for you and God was going to make a way for you? And it's like you just lose all your faith. You just lose all your faith when trials and tribulation come your way. And this is speaking to me tonight because I think about the trials and the tribulation that I go through, that I think a lot of us go through in life. Oh my goodness, my bank account. Look at my bank account. I only have this much money left. How am I going to pay my bills? Or I can't get my project done on time at work. What am I going to do? Am I going to get fired? How am I going to feed my family? Oh no. And it's like, well, have you forgotten what God has done for you? Have you forgotten that God has taken away your sin on the cross through Jesus Christ? If he was willing to give up his own son, Jesus, for me on the cross, of course he's going to provide for me my basic needs. Jesus says in his infamous Sermon on the Mount that, look at the birds, look at the flowers, look at all the things that God has created and how he provides for them. Are you not worth more value than they are? God will take care of you, so stop worrying. God is gonna provide for you. What your job is to seek first the kingdom of God and his righteousness, and all things will be added unto you. It's amazing how we can take our eyes off God so quickly and forget what he has done for us and what he will do for us and how he will provide our basic needs. It's like, I should never again question God whether or not I'm going to have my basic needs met for me. Now, let me be clear, because I know that strong believing Christians go through trials and tribulations, and bad stuff happens. People lose their homes, people lose their jobs, people do run out of food and they need to maybe go on food stamps. I'm talking Christians, So what then? The teaching point, I think, in this is that we need to remember where our help comes from. We need to remember where our help comes from, where our basic needs are met, and we need to have an outlook, and we need to have an approach that, you know what? Yeah, maybe I did lose my house, or maybe I did lose my job, but you know what? Even if I lost my job, God is going to provide for me. He's going to provide for me the basic needs that I have. He's going to provide for me everything I need. And I know it's hard to hear because there's a gospel out there. There's this false gospel going around, this prosperity gospel that God is gonna, that if you sow this amount of money or you pray this amount in the day, God is gonna increase your wealth and your riches. And I'm not saying he can't do that, but I'm just saying that that's where people lean into that. And when they don't see the wealth, when they don't see the prosperity coming from being a Christian, they start to realize, well, what's this Christianity thing for if I'm not going to get rich or if I'm not going to be prosperous? God only promises to cover my basic needs? What? So God is providing, and he's causing the Israelites to depend on him, to lean into him. In the last chapter in 16, we saw the Sabbath being emphasized, that you can collect what you need each day, only what you need. If they collected more than what they needed, it would have gone rotten, it would have stunk, or they wouldn't have had enough. For those who tried to collect on the Sabbath day, they weren't able to, and there were consequences for that too as well. Now here, moving on to 17, they're talking about water, of course, thirst and getting a drink. So God provides for them through this miracle of Moses taking his rod and striking this rock. But also, Moses continues to be God's vessel in which he's performing miracles through. He's performing miracles through Moses still. Moses is still being obedient to God. And it's funny, I love the conversations that we see Moses having with God. It's kind of like the people get angry at Moses, and Moses is like, they're getting angry at me. And then he goes, God, help. It's like, and then God's like, here, perform a miracle. So I just love it. I don't know why I love that dynamic, but I just think it's great how God provides. And at this point in time, Israel is like a toddler. I always like to think of our relationship with God as kind of the relationship that a child has with their parent. And right now, Israel is kind of like a toddler, So God is very patient. God is very gracious. God is, he's teaching and he's admonishing and he's correcting and all of that, but he is providing. He's helping them. He's continuing to foster this atmosphere of where they will believe in him and where they will trust in him. And I just love just how God is really meeting them where they're at right now. I love that. And he helps them overcome their enemies with the Amalekites. How Moses held up his staff, right? He held up his staff, and he had help from his two friends, Aaron and Nun, and they were holding up Moses' arms. And I've heard some preachers talk about that. It's amazing, by the way, how fast a minute goes by on camera. But I've heard some preachers talk about Aaron and Nun and how, we need to be in community as believers, as Christians, as followers of Christ. We can't do it all ourselves. Moses couldn't do everything. He couldn't hold his arms up, so he was losing strength, so he needed people to come alongside him and help him. And that just paints a really beautiful picture for me. I have a discipleship group that I lead with my good friend, Stephen Blair, and we support each other. We all support each other, and when someone's hurting, when someone's in need, we come alongside them. And that's really what discipleship is. That's really what being a brother is to someone else. And that's what God models from the very beginning. So, all right, we're almost at 10 minutes, so I'm going to wrap up here. You guys have a blessed night, and I'll see you soon. Bye-bye.